You've heard the headlines. Investor loses everything in a market crash. Retirement savings wiped out overnight. Stock market tanks again. Stories like that are an investor's worst nightmare. So it's no wonder you start to get a little panicky and maybe even freak out just a bit when you check your portfolio and it's down 15, 20, and 30%. Like, what the hell just happened? We've all heard how panic selling is the worst thing you can do. And in theory, it makes sense right up until the moment when it's your hard earned cash that's disappearing every time you open the app. Let me tell you, theory flies out the window real quick because in that moment, your brain's running the numbers like a bargain shopper at a clearance sale. Okay, I've lost some interest, but most of what I invested is still there. Then, right on cue, you start thinking, maybe I should start pulling everything out now before I lose any more. It's not greed and it's not stupidity. It's self preservation. And it's exactly why so many people end up making their biggest investing mistakes that end up causing them to lose it all. So, is cashing everything out the smart move, or is leaving it all in the account the smart move? In today's video, we're talking about why so many people lose money when they invest and what to do instead. So let's talk about what's really going on when people lose money in the stock market. Because contrary to what a lot of folks think, it's not just about picking the right stocks or picking the wrong stocks. It's not about having enough money. And it's certainly not about being bad with money. The real reason most people lose money when they invest because they treat investing like a slot machine where you put the money in, pull the lever, and out comes a whole bunch of cash instead of what it actually is, a long term wealth strategy that works best when you don't touch it every 5 minutes. Here's what usually happens someone gets excited. Maybe they saw a TikTok. Maybe their cousin's friend, brother's best friend made a bunch of money on crypto. Maybe they finally got a raise and thought, okay, it's time to start investing like a grown up. So they open an account. They buy some stocks, maybe an ETF or two. And at first, everything feels exciting, like they've officially joined the grown up money club. But then the market dips. Nothing dramatic, just a normal little shakiness. But to someone who's not used to investing or how the market works, it feels like financial quicksand. And that's when the mental circus begins. Did I make a mistake? Did I pull it out before it gets worse? Why didn't I just leave it in my savings? Maybe I should try that dividend thing instead, or real estate, or gold, or goats. Personally, I prefer chickens over goats, but whatever. Here's what no one else tells you. The market isn't what makes you lose money. Your behavior in the market is what makes you lose money. When you sell out of fear, you lock in a loss. When you jump in and out, you miss the biggest gains. When you chase what's hot, you're always going to be one step behind. It's like trying to bake a cake and opening the oven door every 3 minutes just to check and see how it's doing. It's not going to cook faster. It's just going to fall flat. And I say this with so much love and compassion. Most people are not bad at investing. They just don't know how to sit still. We're all like a bunch of third graders itching to go outside for recess. You know what I mean? Because investing feels like you're supposed to be doing something. Like there should be knobs to turn or buttons to press or updates to make. But in reality, the most powerful thing you can do is absolutely nothing. Just keep showing up consistently, even when it feels boring. Stay in the game when it feels uncertain. And most importantly, stop checking your account like it's gonna make some huge dramatic shift. I get it. It's really hard to watch your money go down, especially if you grew up in a household where money was tight, or if your savings felt like a lifeline. Watching it shrink a little bit can feel like a full body panic because this is where real wealth building starts by learning to trust the plan more than the panic, by deciding that your future is worth staying uncomfortable in the short term, and by understanding that volatility isn't failure, it's part of the rhythm. Here's the thing if you've ever panic sold something, if you've ever bailed too soon or chased a trend, that didn't work out, that doesn't make you bad at investing. It makes you human. And the good news is, this is all learnable. You don't need a finance degree or a six-figure salary. You just need to stay in the game long enough to let the thing start working for you, not against you. And the first step is to start thinking differently. Let's talk about what losing money actually feels like, because it's easy to say, don't panic when the market drops. It's easy to tell people, just stay the course. But when you open that app and see that your account balance has taken a nosedive, it doesn't feel like a small blip. It feels like a full on emergency. Your brain doesn't register it as volatility, it registers it as loss. And loss equals danger. In fact, research shows that most people feel the pain of a loss about twice as strong as they feel the pleasure of a gain. And that's called loss aversion. And it's one of the biggest reasons people struggle with investing. It's not just about the money, it's about the story that money represents. Because for a lot of us, money isn't just currency, it's safety, it's proof, it's progress, it's freedom. So when the number goes down, even temporarily, it doesn't feel like, oh, I the market's dipped a little bit. It feels like something's being taken from you. It feels like you messed up. It feels like you're falling behind again. And if you grew up with financial instability, if you ever lived paycheck to paycheck, or had your lights turned off, or watched a parent blow up over a busted gallon of milk that was just dropped after you bought it at the grocery store, then that temporary drop can make it feel like a trauma flashback. You're not just reacting to one moment, you're reacting to every moment that money felt like it was out of control. And that's why people sell at the worst times. That's why they yank their money out and swear off investing forever. That's why they chase safe options that don't actually grow. Not because they're bad with money, it's because they're afraid, even if they don't realize that they are, or why they feel that way. And nobody talks about that. Nobody teaches you that investing will trigger the survival mechanism in your brain, that seeing red numbers can feel like a threat, that you might feel embarrassed, panicked, or even guilty for letting it happen or for not paying attention. Here's the truth, there's nothing wrong with you if that's how you feel. It's perfectly normal and it's a human reaction. You're human. You're wired to avoid pain. And that wiring doesn't magically shut off just because you opened up a Roth IRA. The good news, you can work with that wiring once you understand what's happening underneath. You can pause before reacting. You can remind yourself of the bigger picture. You can ground yourself in the plan, not the panic. But you have to name it first. You have to realize the fear isn't about losing a few $100s in your brokerage account. It's about what that loss represents. It's about the fear that you're not safe, that you failed, that it'll never work for you. And once you see that clearly, you can start to separate the emotion from the strategy. You can say, this feels scary, but it doesn't mean I'm doing it wrong. You can let the wave of emotion rise and pass without changing your whole financial plan in the middle of it. That's the psychology of investing. It's not just the numbers, it's how you feel about the numbers. And the better you get at naming that pattern, the better you'll be at staying the course. So, what do wealthy investors do differently? And how does their approach flip this whole experience upside down? Let's talk about what they do. Because if you've ever looked around and thought, how is everyone else making this work when I always feel like I'm just guessing? Guess what? You're not the only one who feels that way. But the answer isn't about having more money. It's not about insider info. And it's definitely not some secret investment that nobody told you about. It's mindset, it's strategy, it's discipline over drama. Wealthy investors play the long game, even when things get a little shaky. I mean, especially when things feel shaky. They don't get spooked by the headlines. They don't chase every new trend, and they don't measure success by what happens this week, this month, or even this year. They measure success by what happens over decades. Now, if that sounds boring, that's because it is. And boring is beautiful when it comes to investing. Wealthy investors often use simple tools: index funds, ETFs, automated contributions, low fee accounts, and a strategy that's built around consistency, not being clever. They're not trying to outsmart the market, they're trying to outlast it. They focus on habits instead of hacks. They let time do the heavy lifting, and they build wealth not by reacting, but by staying committed. So here's an example. Let's say the market drops 25%. It sounds terrifying, right? But what most people don't realize is that this has happened before, multiple times. And the people who kept their money invested through it, they not only recovered, but ended up with more wealth on the other side. Wealthy investors don't bail when it's scary. They might rebalance, they might diversify, but they don't disappear. And here's why that matters for you. You don't have to be a millionaire to think like one. You just have to stop thinking like a gambler, because real investing isn't about predicting the future, it's about preparing for it. Now, let's get a little more specific. What can you actually do to start investing like this, even if you've made mistakes for, even if you're starting small, even if you got some fear about hanging around? So let's bring this back to you. You've probably heard the classic investing advice: start early, be consistent, don't try to time the market, buy and hold, diversify. And yeah, that advice works. It's been working for decades. But let's be honest, when you're living in the real world, juggling bills, side hustles, maybe some debt, maybe kids, or taking care of a loved one, or even running a business, that advice can feel a little generic. Like, okay, but how exactly am I supposed to do that when I've got $38 left over after groceries and a car that sounds like it's coughing up its last breath? Here's the truth: you don't need a perfect setup, you don't need thousands of dollars, and you don't need to feel like you're ready or waiting for the perfect moment. You just need to start small. Get in alignment with what you want to accomplish, because real wealth building starts with intention, not intensity, not pressure, not guilt. So, what can you do instead of panic selling, jumping trends, or avoiding investing altogether? Start here. First, get clear on why you're investing, not just for retirement or just to make money. What does financial freedom mean to you? Is it having choices, taking care of your family, walking away from a toxic job, never worrying about rent again? That clarity is what's going to keep you calm when the market gets messy. Because when you know what you're working towards, short term drops don't rattle you the same way. They become part of the path, not the end of the world. Second, automate what you can. I'm a big fan of removing temptation from the equation. So set up auto transfers into a retirement account or a brokerage account, even if it's $25 a month. Seriously, the $25 matters more than you think, not because of the amount, but because of the habit. Wealth is built by creating a rhythm, and the sooner you start building that rhythm, the sooner you start seeing results. Third, keep it simple. You don't need to be a stock picker. You don't need 12 different apps and a whiteboard with price targets. Start with something like a total smart stock market index fund or a target date fund that matches your retirement age, and build from there. If you're investing for the long haul, start simple. Simple beats sexy every time. Fourth, stop checking your account every 5 minutes unless you want to give yourself an ulcer. Then, if that's your goal, by all means, carry on. Otherwise, set a schedule. Maybe you check your investments once a quarter, maybe once a month. That's it. Trust me, your portfolio doesn't need your micromanagement, it needs your patience. And finally, don't let guilt or fear make your decisions. If you've made investing mistakes in the past, welcome to the club. If you're starting later than you wanted to, welcome to the club. If your investment account is smaller than someone else's vacation fund, welcome to the club. You're not behind, you're just building things differently from here on out. You're building things in a way that's in alignment with your goals and your life circumstances. And that's what matters. What you do next is always more important than what you didn't do before. So start where you are, pick one step and take it. Your future self isn't asking for perfection, it's asking you to stay in the game. And if you want an investment strategy that actually fits your life, not someone else's blueprint, go watch this video next.